Welcome back, Michael. First of all, I understand Michael Enrique's copped a bit of a nasty blow in the nets. Can you tell us how he is?
Yeah, at this stage, Moses has just gone for a scan, for an X-ray. So fingers crossed he's fully fit and available for selection for tomorrow. So generally, when I do my press conference, I have a team for you all, but unfortunately right now I can't give you that up, and we'll need to wait and see how Moe pulls up.
How bad did it look to you?
I just seen a taped finger, to be honest, so I don't really know. Yeah, we'll have the scan and wait and see. But he got hit yesterday when bowling. I actually straight drove one back and he got his finger on it, so I was a little bit sore, but it was fine. And then, as you've seen, batting in the nets today, he got hit again. So yeah, we'll know a lot more this afternoon once he has the X-ray.
It'd be tough for him, obviously, if he couldn't play, because I think last match for Australia was about 3 years ago. He would have been very keen.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, he's certainly got his fingers crossed, and he's hoping that the scan comes back clear, as we all are, because I know he's looking forward to his opportunity. That's for sure.
Michael, who actually bowled the ball that hit him, and if he doesn't play, would that probably mean that Ben Cutting does, and then Cutsy you would think probably not playing the Big Bash final?
I'm not. I don't know that answer yet. I guess what we're going to do is wait and see how Moses pulls up. If he doesn't play, if he's not fit because he's got a broken finger, then obviously it's out of Cutsy and Maxi to play as that all-rounder. So we'll wait and see. Conditions look really good. It looks like a very nice wicket. The outfield looks pretty quick as well. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to speak to the selectors and once we get more information on Moses. But I'd imagine, yeah, if Cutsy does play tomorrow, I'm not sure how that'll work either in regards to the Big Bash final.
Just on this, whatever you want to call it, resting rotation, player management, whatever, whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing for the team, do you actually realise as captain how, I suppose, on the nose the whole thing is with the public? Because the public just don't like it.
I've read that. Look, I think what the public wants to see is the best possible Australian team on the field every game. And honestly, I think we're trying to do that. I really do. I think the risk of playing someone when they're not 100% fit, if they do get injured, can put them out for 6 weeks, 6 months. It's the issue where the Australian team is now compared to where it was 10 years ago is 10 years ago you had 4, 5, 6, 7 great players in one team. So if they were 80% fit, they're still good enough to win a game for Australia. Where we sit now as a team it's a lot different to that. If the gap between, the 11 players that take the field and the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th player is quite close. So if you're not 100% fit to perform at your best, it's not worth the risk for the team for you to take the field and let the team down, And I said that before the test match in Melbourne with my hamstring injury. If I wasn't fit to take the field and perform at my best like I had done throughout the summer, it wouldn't be fair on the team because there's someone on the same level as me who's 12th man, 13th man, 14th man, could come in and do a better job than me at 80%.
I understand that, but I guess the question was, and I thank you for your response on that,
Yeah.
but the question was, I guess, more in terms of the public perception of it. Like, do you realise you've got a long way to go to convince the public that this is the right way to go for Australian cricket?
Well, I think what the public wants to see also is see Australia win games of cricket. So we're going to try and do that, no matter what 11 players we put on the field. We're going to try on every single occasion to get our best 11, the guys that are fully fit, onto the park. And I hope the public understands that. And we are going to, every game we play, there's no in my eyes, there's no priority game. There's no priority series. Every opportunity you have to play for Australia, that's a big game of cricket. That's a big test match. That's a big one day. That's a big 2020 game. There's obviously the pinnacle of international cricket is test cricket. And I think we have done over the past 12 months, tried to prioritise test cricket above one-day cricket and 2020 cricket. And mainly because we dropped so low on our performance. All I can, I guess, my goal with this team is to try and win every single game of cricket we play. But I do believe you can only take your best 11 players. So if somebody is not 100% fit to play their role, then they don't make that best 11, no matter what their name is, no matter what their reputation is. Our team is a lot different now to what it used to be, like I say, 10 years ago.
Just on that, Michael, how does it feel to sort of have greats of the game like Warne and Lee come out and slam the selection policies? I mean, Warne's a good friend of yours, and he's rubbishing it in the last couple of days.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that he's spoken about in the group that people outside the group aren't aware of. We've probably seen some cases throughout the past 12 months where guys have not been 100% fit, or had little niggles that probably haven't been communicated as well as they need to be to the media, in essence to the public. I think the Perth Test match was a great example call it resting Peter Siddle and Ben Hilfenhaus. Well, the facts were they just weren't fit enough to perform at their best. This is what I'm saying to you, Ben. It's just an example of, that two guys we brought in for Ben Hilfenhaus and Ben Siddle, we were confident if they were 100%, they could do a better job than those guys at 70 or 80%. So, look, the Australian way is always and will always be everybody is entitled to their opinion, and I love that about this country. We, as a selection panel, there's going to be times we have to cop criticism, that's for sure, but the most important thing for us is I just want the public and the media to understand that we're trying to do the best thing for Australian cricket for this game today, and then also in regards to what we have coming up over the next 12 months. And there's no guarantees that if you're rested for a game, you're going to be 100% fit for the next game, or you're not going to get injured the next game. So, it's trying to find that middle road where we give the public what they want. We're playing our best team as much as we can, but we're also making sure guys aren't playing one game and missing 3 months because they're injured. There's that consistency.
To the selectors and the management, they need to be more transparent in how they let us know about injuries and that. The Stark situation is obviously one.
Look, I think we have always tried to be as open and honest as we can be. There's two sides. There's protection of the player in regards to not giving opposition team too much information as well. When we do media every single day of the year, if we're talking about somebody who has a niggle, 4 days out before a test match, that's a lot of information to give the opposition team 4 days out before a test. So I think our policy of being transparent, being open, being honest is something the Australian cricket team is very proud of, and I hope that doesn't change. I would hate to see us go the other way and keep everything in-house and don't tell the media or the public anything. I think, the public and the media deserve to know what's going on within the team. So I think we're trying our best there. I just think we're trying to probably have the cake and eat it, where we're trying to look after the player and the team, and then we're also trying to give the media and the Australian public as much as we possibly can.
Different topic.
Thanks.
Luke Pommersback and Shaun Marsh, they've been outstanding in the Big Bash. They're head and shoulders the best batsmen, in terms of runs there. You've obviously got some 2020 games coming up. Without foreshadowing selections, do you look at those blokes' performances now, or do you take into account both of them have obviously got checkered paths in terms of behavioural issues and whatever, or do you just simply look at what they're doing now, and if they're good enough, they get picked?
Fortunately, I'm not the 2020 captain, so I don't have to worry about that selection. In regards to one-day cricket, because I think there's still a lot of similarities there, I think it's about performance. I think Shaun and Luke have done a fantastic job, made the most of their opportunity, especially Luke moving to Queensland, playing for the Heat. I think it's really exciting to see him performing well, and I think the Heat deserve a lot of credit, and Darren Lehmann deserves a lot of credit for, for going out on a limb and getting Pommers to Brisbane. I think Luke deserves a lot of credit to make the move to Queensland and not have a contract. It took a lot of courage, and he's reaping the rewards now. So I think it's exciting for both Shaun and Luke. I know they're very good friends, and I know they'd both love to play for Australia again together. And if they keep performing the way they're performing, I don't see any reason why they won't be at the top of the queue when the selectors are talking about the 2020 games coming up.
Did you watch any of last night?
I watched the whole game. Yeah. I've watched just about all the Big Bash games. I think it's been a really exciting tournament. I think last night was unbelievable, the ups and downs of that game. But what a fantastic game of cricket.
Anything else?
Michael, just looking at the wicket conditions out there. Normally the Gabba one-day games, 4 quicks, or 3 and an all-rounder. Would you think you're saying Maxi and Hutsy, how do you look at a wicket as far as pace bowling? Yeah,
I'd like to see it again tomorrow morning. I think it's always a beautiful wicket. In my opinion, this is the best one-day wicket in the world. It has beautiful pace and bounce for the bowlers, but as you get in as a batter, there's no better place to bat either. So I'll assess conditions tomorrow. It's more, I really want to see how Moses goes with this scan. But then we have two options in regards to do we either pick Cutting or Maxwell.
Yep, one final one. I don't know if you've spoken about it previously, but yourself and Dave Warner obviously back in the side. A little more expectation on the Australian team. Obviously now you're at full strength potentially.
I think the expectation from within is always there, no matter what form of the game you're playing. I think Davey Warner would definitely like to perform better than he has in his past one-dayers. This is a form of the game that I know he loves, and he wants to be a big part of this team. So, you know, we need him up the top, batting well. I think the boys played really well in Melbourne. I think it was a great start to the series. We probably had the worst of batting conditions in Adelaide, but we didn't play as well as we would have liked. So we've spoken about areas where we think we can improve, and I think as a batting unit, this is a really good opportunity for us to stand up and make sure we're making runs, stamp our authority, and make the most of these opportunities. You know, like I said, there's plenty of guys waiting around the corner. We've seen Usman come in, Steve Smith come in. There's plenty of guys waiting for a chance. So no matter who you are, no matter how many games you've played for Australia, you need to be performing to stay in this one-day team right now.
Are you confident that your form and the long form of the game will shift across to the one-day arena, or do you feel any undue pressure given that it's a different style of the game and, you know, people have seen you make all these runs and perhaps expecting you just to fall straight into a century?
I don't think I'll fall straight into a century, that's for sure. My expectation doesn't change. I've played enough one-day cricket now to know that, you know, my batting doesn't change too much in regards to one-day cricket or test cricket. I still will try and play with that positive intent. I'll still try and play my natural game, but that doesn't guarantee success. I've worked really hard since being in Brisbane the last couple of days on my batting. There's been a couple of areas that I've been really working on in regards to one-day cricket to take that next step. So, yeah, in regards to preparation, I've done everything I can, and my goal is to continue to make runs and help this Australian team, you know, continue to have success, whether it be in test cricket or one-day cricket.
Does that extra, a bit more of a break than you've had than perhaps you might have if you've gone straight into the games, do you find that time is beneficial to be able to get into the nets and make those changes as opposed to just sliding straight across?
Well, for me, the break was about getting my hamstring, giving my hamstring a little bit of extra time before stepping into one-day cricket. I guess where you field in one-day cricket, the intensity of running between the wickets is a little bit different to test cricket. So, yeah, I don't think I would have been fit to play the first two one-day games. Well, I obviously wasn't fit, otherwise I would have played. So the break's been great for my body. It's given me every chance to have a lot of rehab in regards to my hamstring. It's probably given me a week off mentally as well to refresh. But I'm not a very good watcher of cricket, so I watched every game and I miss being around the boys. So look, I've got that hunger inside me like I've had all summer. I want to make sure I'm leading from the front as the captain. I want to score runs. I don't feel it's any extra pressure that I scored runs in Test cricket coming into the one-dayers. I want this team to have success, and I'd like to be a big part of that.
Is there a danger after Adelaide to sort of sit back and think, well, maybe for the rest of the boys, that, hey, the top three are back, the big three are back, we'll be right now?
No, I think the complete opposite, and we've spoken about that. It's about each individual taking responsibility and being the one to put their hand up. So, you know, there's going to be games throughout this series where the openers will make runs or, you know, the middle order will make runs. It's just about when you get your chance going on and cashing in. And like I say, I think the boys really did that in Melbourne. It was good to see Hughesy make 100. You know, Dave Hussey looks in really good nick. George Bailey's in good nick. So I'm hoping that, you know, Davey Warner, myself and Matthew Wade can slide back into that order and continue, you know, to run with the momentum that we built up in Melbourne.
What's been learnt from Adelaide?
Well, I think lots have been spoken about in regards to conditions being different, so being able to adjust to different conditions. I think you see that in international cricket, especially out of Australia, around the world. One day you'll play on a wicket that's great for batting, the next day you'll play on a wicket that spins. Go to South Africa, then it might seam. So I think the difference in pitches from Melbourne to Adelaide, there was a big difference. So we've spoken about being able to adapt a bit quicker. And the thing we always talk about is, you know, somebody in that top four putting their hand up and going on and making a big score. And that was the difference between us making 300 in Melbourne compared to Adelaide. You know, somebody did go on and make a big score in Melbourne, and our goal is exactly the same in this game, to make sure if you get in, to cash in.
Last question. Where will you bat, Michael, and where will Matthew Wade bat? He's moved around the order a bit in one-day cricket a bit.
I'll bat at number 3, and Matthew Wade will bat at number 6. Phil Hughes will open with Davey Warner, yeah.